Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to be with you today. We light a candle as a symbol of Christ, the light of the world, as tradition tells us, being in our midst, and we remember also that it provides us with inspiration and reminders throughout our worship service, and that when it is extinguished, we can be reminded that the light does not go out, that we, who Jesus said, you are the light of the world. We take that light into the world when we go from here. And so it is good to be with you. I welcome you to Bloom in the Desert Ministries, United Church of Christ, Reconciling Ministries congregation. We are striving to live the motto of the United Church of Christ, who says, whoever you are and wherever you are on the journey of faith, you are welcome here. It is our intention and action to be purposeful about that, and to even say things like we welcome people who are black and white and red and yellow and brown. We know that creation is more than a binary system or one particular way of looking at things, so we know that there are many variations in nature, including the diversity that brings us multiple sexual orientations and gender identities. And so we welcome people who are straight and gay, bisexual. We welcome people who are transgender, who are transitioning, people who are gender fluid and not identifying a particular gender. Our desire is to welcome people as you see yourself from the inside out, rather than an identity that we would foist upon you. Now, when we transition from being out there to being in here, from being scattered to gathering ourselves, as faithful people have done for millennia, we bring our heart and soul and mind and strength together for the worship of God and in association with each other. Now is the time when we go from being scattered to being gathered, from being out there to being in here. We come from a wide variety of geographical locations and perspectives and backgrounds. And now in this way, in the motto of the United Church of Christ, the historical one, that they may all be one, we gather our heart and soul and mind and strength together in the worship of God. And so let
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please rise as you are able and join me in the responsive call to worship. We come here and sing of love.
Because God is love.
We are careful to act in love.
Because actions speak louder than words.
We are called to focus on love.
Because we worship God, love, in a community of love. Shalom, salam, pinan, paz, peace, amen.
This is the time in our worship when in faith we open our hearts to ministry. Now in prayer, we welcome God's spiritual embrace. Together we say, God
is love. We open our hearts to love today. As we look at one another, give us eyes to see beloved friends who have generous hearts and are precious people in our creation. As we live and worship and learn together, stimulate our understanding to discover ourselves as beloved friends with generous hearts, as precious people among your creation. As love calls to us, we know we answer in various ways. While needs surround us, we covenant to live generously, fostering loving hearts. With beauty in us, we hope, reflecting your shining spirit for all to see. Help us answer your call to address the needs of this world, and trust the beautiful blessings you created us to be and become.
loving Creator, wonderful Counselor, Sovereign of Peace, receive now our silent meditation and prayers. All of our silent prayers, let the people say Amen.
Amen.
Rest easy in the feeling of God, for here we are accepted and loved. Here we experience healing, of life's wounds. Here we find forgiveness and assume wholeness. Why not rejoice in these gifts of grace?
Amen. Let us now
receive the word.
Please rise as you are able for the reading of the Gospel. The Gospel reading today comes to us from the book of Mark, chapter 7, verses 1 through 8 and 14 through 16. The Pharisees and some of the religious scholars who had come from Jerusalem gathered around Jesus. They had noticed that some of the disciples were eating with unclean hands, that is, without ritually washing them. For the Pharisees and Jewish people in general follow the tradition of their ancestors and never eat without washing their arms as far as the elbow. Moreover, they never eat anything from the market without first sprinkling it. There are many other traditions which have been handed down to them, such as the washing of cups and pots and dishes. So these Pharisees and religious scholars asked Jesus, "Why do your disciples not respect the tradition of our ancestors, but eat their food with unclean hands?" Jesus answered, "How accurately Isaiah prophesied about you hypocrites when he wrote, 'These people honor me with their lips, while their hearts are far from me. The worship they offer me is worthless. The doctrines they teach are only human precepts.' You disregard God's commandments and cling to human traditions." Jesus summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Listen to me, all of you, and try to understand. Nothing that enters us from the outside makes us impure. It is what comes out of us that makes us impure. If you have ears to hear, then listen." Here ends the reading of the Gospel. This is the good news of Jesus Christ.
Thanks be to God.
Amen.
To the side of the road, the Christian journey guidance. It clearly says, even so, you gotta love them. I hope we understand the nuances of that and celebrate knowing the difference. Ralph Waldo Emerson was an American essayist and lecturer and poet who led the Transcendentalist movement in the mid-19th century. He is quoted saying something that lots of people parrot. His words from the 19th century are a reflection of the words of the prophet Isaiah and from Mark's presentation of Jesus, when Emerson wrote, "Go put your creed into your deed. What you do speaks so loud that I cannot hear what you say." Now, despite his lack of adverb application, those words are important. This is a statement that can be taken in both negative and positive ways. Negatively, it accuses someone of being hypocritical in their speech when they do not act in accordance with their claims. A lot of finger pointing, big opportunity for shame and blame in that doing good phrase. In a positive way, it basically says something like, let your daily walking do your spiritual talking. Walk the talk. How we take this is up to us, and I suggest we take it and we ponder it religiously, nonetheless. This morning I read that today's sermon title at St. Paul United Church of Christ in St. Louis is What Really Matters. Or in sort of a PBS fashion, they have an alternate title, What Really Matters. Or Gray-haired women in pantsuits smoking on the church porch. Reverend Tom Ressler, the pastor there, is more clever with sermon titles than I would ever hope to be. But I can tell that we are talking about the same Bible verse applied to congregational life today. And for both of us, I imagine the conclusion is that we share The conclusion that says, the love in action is the best done worship ever. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen. You've given us so much, God, and now we present this offering to you. It's not just our money, but our service, our prayers, ourselves. Receive all that we give and bless it to make a difference in the world. Amen.
Amen. Familiar and comforting to you, saying,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we